Hey everybody, and welcome to Christian Crossfire. I am Matthew Doc Truman. Alongside me tonight is David Snell. The regular fellas, they're out doing whatever they're doing, but they're not going to be on tonight. So I thought this would be the best opportunity to get to know one of the members that you see here every week, and that's David Snell. That's why I'm titling this "Who is David Snell?" We're gonna talk to David and kind of get to get to know David a little bit, and that way, everybody, when we study these Bibles or these chapters in the Bible or the Bible doctrines, you guys will understand who David is. So, David, how are you tonight?
Well, Matt, I have a lot to be thankful for. God, He's an awesome God, a waymaker, a dad of the dad, mom, you name it. He's all those things to a lot of us. And I wouldn't be here because my parents taught me about the Lord, my grandmother, other people that really invested in my life. And so I wouldn't be sitting here today if it would have been for those individuals. There's probably many more I couldn't name right now, but they really invested in my life. They saw something special in my life. So I give them gratitude on that for sure.
So, let's start at the beginning. So, where are you from? Talk about a little bit about where you're from, your family, and all that.
Well, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I was born and raised here in Cleveland. Um, my family originally came from New Orleans. Go figure that out.
Nice.
And which I didn't know until, my mother was good about um, ancestry history a little bit,
Right.
so I kind of picked that up a little bit. So a lot of the family members came in up north because jobs were plentiful, here in
Right.
Ohio.
Yeah,
And
a lot of folks did.
yeah, and that's how I landed up here. That's why I
Okay.
was born here.
Cleveland, Ohio. So, mom, dad, you have any brothers or sisters or?
I'm the only kid in town.
Oh, nice. Nice. Uh,
Yeah.
is mom and dad still around or they went on to be with the Lord?
No, they were called be in God's bosom, my friend.
Yeah.
I lost my dad 13 years ago, my mother 6 years ago this year.
Sorry.
And in all honesty, I thank God that they did their assignment, which they
Yeah.
raised me right. And I remember my mother used to ask me, including my grandmother, um, would I be old enough to see, me growing up as a man? And I said, you will. And they always said, how do you know that? Because I know that you want the best for me. I knew that you sent me off to, Christian school in Southern Ohio for education, right? So this is the reason I feel that they live as long as they did to make sure that I will be all right. And not only that, the man that I am today.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, that's the title that I put on it. Who was David Snell? So, when did you first hear about God and Jesus, and when did you get into that?
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, Matthew. Even though my mother played a big part, taught me about the Lord. And also my grandmother, my mother's mom. And you know what's interesting? You know how it is, even though it was inbred in you, I kind of got away from it for a little while. You know how it is.
Yep.
You're in the teenage years. You just want to do your own thing. But I have two people that really reminded me how important it is to have the Lord in your life. Number one, a school teacher. Number two, the director of the school in Southern Ohio.
What was the school, if you can say? And
it was Sunny Haven Christian School.
where was it at?
It was in Plain City, Ohio.
Okay.
That's about 150 miles from Cleveland.
Wow.
They're not no longer in business, but they're
How
under.
did you end up down there? Your folks just found this school and sent you down there, or?
Yeah, by different inquiries on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they felt it was the right thing to do, and so they felt it was the right place for me to go, and I'm glad they did that.
So your director and
The school teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that lead
Oh,
you?
when they asked me, said, Dave, do you have a relationship with the Lord? And I didn't understand what they meant. So I started praying and started kind of open to put two and two together. And I said, you know, Lord, I really want to get to know you. I really want to please you, and I want to make sure I want to be a good representation of him. So that was that decision. When I got a little older, I realized how important that really is. Very important. And so I thank God. If it wouldn't have been those individuals and plus my parents and everybody else, I wouldn't be here. I would not be here. It would have been a sure enough struggle. And so, yeah, the Lord really convicted my heart that day. Say, yeah, gotta have that relationship. That's why I'm so passionate about what I say, because I do a lot of videos about that on Facebook.
Yeah.
So
when you get out of school and you come back to Cleveland, is that where
yeah,
you always lived at?
age 21, and I knew parents were doing all right, grandmother, all those things. I knew I had to come back home because I know it's going to be a day that I will have to step up to oversee them too, which
Right.
I'm glad I did.
Okay. So you took care of mom and dad before they
Yeah,
passed
yeah,
away.
and grandmother too.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So what do you do now?
Well, fast forward, I work one of the best companies in the world, Parker Hannifin. They've been around since 1904. Yeah, we got locations, 170 locations around the country and in the world. I think we cover 53 countries around the world. So
Wow.
I've been there almost 30 years, and God has really showed my hand, brother.
That's awesome.
Show my hand. And go ahead.
Yeah, what do you do in the church? Because we go out to all the Bible, the Christian Crossfire folks.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm the church keeper. I'm the person that opens the church doors Sunday morning.
Nice.
I'm the first one.
Nobody would trust me with the keys to church.
Right. So that's about me. That's about me.
They trust David, but they wouldn't trust.
Yeah. But anyway, So the pastor, he trusted me enough to do that. And I make sure all the lights are on, make sure whether it's the heat or AC. I usually just case around the building, make sure everything is secure, you know, and so I'm part of the security detail now. The
Oh,
pastor
nice.
started up because things is getting really hot out there. So
Yeah,
we gotta. My goal is just be the protector
that's awesome.
for our
That
congregation.
is that can be a burden, but it can also be a blessing because it's good to have you around, have folks able to to keep everything safe, especially nowadays. But it can be a burden because there's a lot on your shoulders.
Yeah,
You got a
yeah.
lot of folks to protect.
I have a friend of mine, a friend and his family is a security specialist, and he trains, different people for whether it's churches, companies, but his biggest market is in churches, basically.
Good.
So, yeah.
So to wrap it up, we'll just keep it short. You shared a story about before we got on here about a young man that came into the church. Do you mind sharing that with the folks watching tonight about
Yeah.
how you're reaching out to folks and how and maybe wrap it up with telling people that that's pretty much our mission is to share the good news, right?
Yeah.
So there's a young guy that came to your church, you shared a little bit. I'll let you go from there.
Well, when I went in and, opened the doors of the church and, I'd make sure everything was good to go. And when I was coming back, I saw this young man. I said, sir, can I help you? And so I can tell that he is troubled, and I introduced myself and he introduced himself to me and we started, talking, and I asked him, what's going on, where you live, he don't live far from the church. I said, oh, okay. And I asked him, say, hey, is there something else that I can help you with, or the pastor? And he said, the only thing that jumped at me, he said, I want to change. That really got my attention. That really, I could feel his spirit was so heavy.
Man.
And I truly believe if I didn't interact the way I did with this young man, ain't no telling where it went.
So he showed up there at the
He
church.
did.
So he's
And,
reaching out. He's really needing something.
oh my Lord. And then I told him, I said, Pastor will be in 8:30 normally. And you want to speak further, you more than welcome. And I introduced him to the pastor, and he went to the office and they started talking. That was during the revival season. The last one was Sunday. So that was during that time frame. It happened in the morning. So yeah.
And he's been back, or
I was really hoping I'd see him today, but I didn't see him. But it's not to say that he'll be back, but I truly believe he will be back. And I truly believe that after he gave up his life to the Lord, I believe God is going to do something great in this young man's life. I believe that. I believe that. And go ahead.
oh, I was just carry on.
The reason I share this story, we have to pay attention. People surround us,
Yeah.
The Lord really convicted my heart last Sunday morning. And he basically just told me, just be more observant and really pay attention to people that's surrounding you.
Yeah. He'll put people in our lives sometimes that, we may have that where we're like, like you said, he was a little troubled. So you kind of look and you're like, oh, I don't know, but then you still have to reach out because you don't know. You don't know if this is something that you have to
I
do.
just took a chance.
Yeah. And that I've done it a couple times myself, where you just take a chance on folks and you're like, okay, there's going to be something good that comes out of this. It's not going to be good for me, but it was put on me to provide something good for somebody else. And that's, I think, what gets lost a lot nowadays is folks are worried about me instead of worrying about, okay, sometimes we got to take a chance, like David
We
said.
do.
So
We do.
that's awesome, Dave.
I'm just glad I was there.
Yeah.
When he needed most.
And you needed it at one time. I need
I
it
did.
often, right? There's always somebody that's looking out for me, whether it's my wife or my kids even. I mean, my kids look out for me. Or Waylon that's on here, or David, or whoever. Somebody will look out for you and say, hey, here's what, I'm here for you if you need something. And that's what we got to get back to, I think.
And that's when accountability comes in at. That's just like the preacher was saying tonight. It's about accountability. We lost that as well. So,
yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, we got to be accountable to our own actions. We have to be accountable for ourselves to treat others better.
Oh yeah. The Lord has really shown his hand.
Especially nowadays. Wow.
Yeah, it's he wasn't really scolding me, but I think he just reminded me, just be more observant to people and really just be attentive.
Yeah.
Just pay attention. So,
well, before we wrap up here, Dave, we're going to keep it short, folks. I just wanted everybody to get to know David a little bit because he's on here every weekend, every Sunday at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Christian Crossfire. David's always on here, and I wanted folks to get to know David a little bit. But before we leave, David, is there anything else you want to say about yourself?
Well, it has, my journey in life has been awesome, challenging, yes, but I think with challenges, it comes a better you, a better Christian, a better human being to somebody maybe they never heard the Lord in their life. It goes back to what I said earlier. You could be the only Bible people will see.
Yeah.
And when I think about that young man, I was the only Bible that he saw.
Mm.
And it's like, wow, that was a David Snell moment right there.
Yeah. All right, David, you said it all, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's the classic David catch.
Yeah.
For everybody who has not watched this show, when we do Christian Crossfire or when it was Rooster Doc and Friends, that's David's catchphrase. It is.
Yeah.
I love it. And I'm going to give a shout out to Aguzma. He's down there in Haiti, folks. Keep Aguzma and his folks in your prayers. He's down in Haiti.
Yeah.
And, reach out to him if you can. Anyway, thanks, David. This has been Christian Crossfire.
Yeah.
We learned a little more about David Snell tonight. And we'll be back next week with our continued study on Romans. We're going to do chapter 12 in Romans. I studied for it tonight, but the folks had, they didn't tell me. I'm gonna take a minute. They didn't tell me they weren't going to be on tonight. So
really,
David and I, we did this on the seat of our pants, and we came up with something to give you guys that watch every week a little something. So there it is, and it was good. I think this was meant to happen because we needed to know, a little bit more about David. So thanks, guys, for not coming on.
And furthermore, I love y'all. This just one more thing. Just have a relationship with the Lord.
Indeed.
You'll be glad you did.
Indeed. All right. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next week, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ohio time. The best state in the Union. We'll see you next week.